Hi, I wanted to do a quick explanation on what I did on the mockup rescoring of the Jin Sakai theme from Ghost of Tsushima. So I wanted to analyze this music to have better understanding of what's going on, because I think it's a beautiful music, super well balanced, very emotional, very effective. And so the best way to analyze is when you have the score. Just take a look at it. I don't know if this music has been edited, but anyway, I didn't have the score, so I just redid it. And to try to understand what's going on. First thing I observed is that the music is super simple, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. I tend to do music that is super complex, and I think doing complex music is easy, but having a music that is super well balanced, where everything is at the right place and there is no extra features for nothing, no fluff. That's super difficult actually, and this music is really beautiful. So this is what I could make by ear. So probably I'm missing a couple of things, or maybe a lot of things, I don't know, but to me, when I do a A-B comparison, it works pretty well. I'm quite satisfied from what I did, but yeah, probably I missed some stuff, or maybe even misunderstood some aspect of it, I don't know. So if I take a look, for instance, at the melody, so this one should play it, right? So yeah, first the melody is the key thing here, and it's super easy, it's in G minor, so 1 2 3 5 1 2 3 6 somewhere, it's kind of a very simple melody, no strange jump, no big intervals there. It's not Schoenberg, but it's so emotional. It works very well, and this is the power of this melody is that it evokes. It's super singular first. I mean, you can recognize that this is this song and not another one very quickly. But also, if you move one note and another here and there, and it can quickly become something else. So that's funny because it's familiar and it is singular at the same time. So this is really a great melody for this. So the strings, I think the strings are doing a lot of stuff. It's probably the most important part of it. Actually, this is where I put the most efforts. And what I did is a little chaotic, because I used several, violins, 3 violins instruments sections actually, to get the result I wanted. And sometimes it's a little, the way I distributed it is sometimes a little weird, because I'm not doing a score, I'm doing I want the sonic result I'm looking for. So for instance, this kind of movement probably is fine, but probably it would have been to this voice instead. But whatever, it's not really important. This is super weird. Why did I did that? But it works. Yeah, where are there? Should be at the bottom. So this is this is I was using the the Spitfire Albion 1 because I bought them recently and I wanted to try. It's cool. The problem is that it's not divided by sections but by register, so I'm not super fan of this, but it sounds good and I think it is closer to the instrument they used, because I think this is the BBC Orchestra at Abbey Road, I think. Anyway, so the bass, you see, a lot of time is spending on the tonic, and except of this little movement here, it's very static. So the same, it's interesting. I mean, it's really grounded. In my music, the bass is moving a lot. I come from the funk a lot, so I like super, moving bass. But for this music especially, it works just fine like that with a bass that is really static. I mean, I will feel ashamed to do this, for instance, but hey, it works so great. So it was another lesson for me, to see how simple things can be so powerful and so efficient. So really, this music, I love it so much. This is why I did it. I wanted to redo it. And so, great lesson. Or just this little section, so the boom, 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 boom. Another reinforcement from, a bass here, probably marcato, I think, or something like that. So the brass, probably I was missing a couple of things there. Actually, the trumpet, I'm just using it for the timbre to reinforce the oboe, but in this case, it doesn't really matter. So super simple thing. The tuba is reinforcing the bass, and I was using several horns. I mixed the Spitfire Albion 1 again with some earcam instruments I really enjoy from UVI. Sometimes I'm using one voice, sometimes two voices, sometimes three voices. It's probably wrong. This is what I could get by ear. Probably I'm missing a few things, but again, when I compare the two, it's kind of similar enough to me. And then there is this counterpoint that is super great. I put it on the oboe. Yes, doubled by a trumpet and some horns as well, right? Some winds sections from Albion 1 again. And finally, the percussions. And the percussions, I mean, to me, this is very surprising, because when I compose drums on my music, it is super complex. I do really complex drums. I like it. I like maximalistic music, and especially when it comes to drums. And this one is so damn simple. I should put a grid there, it will be easier to understand. It was so simple, but again, it is just what it needs. It's so efficient. There is no need for something else. So that's perfect like that. So let's listen to some individual sections. So for instance, let's start with the strings. It's not super tight because it's all played. glitches there. Yeah, so I'm spending a lot of time doing the continuous control, and so this is a big thing because most of the time it's CC1, CC11 that are used, but sometimes it's only one of them. Sometimes you can have the CC7. CC7 is the volume, so it's always there, but it's not necessarily hooked. And the problem is that a same gesture from one instrument to another can have very different result, impact. So it's hard sometimes, it demands a lot of practice. As you can see, this is a total mess here because I like to use controller, physical controller to do this and to have to perform, but because I'm super perfectionist, most of the time I finish this or I completely redo it using just a couple of points and by hands, so it depends. Yeah. Okay, and I can spend a lot of time on this, and the problem is that you can do this track by track, controller per controller, or many at the same time. It depends. Obviously the most efficient way is doing many at the same time, but I like to do it one by one, starting by the most foreground instrument and then distribute and go one by one sequentially. But the problem is that at the end sometimes you just encounter a result that you wouldn't completely expected, because it's hard to completely anticipate this kind of stuff. So in the best scenario, just make a few adjustments. In the worst one, you just redo it from scratch. So anyway, in terms of mix, honestly, not many things. Well, I like to not do a lot of automations because we already do a lot of CC curves, so it's redundant at some point. But also, I don't try to adjust the mixer that much. It depends on other kind of music, pop music, acoustic music, yes, a lot. But in this orchestral simulation, no, I really use the CC that are designed for that. And all the same, not many effects, actually, very few. A couple of OTT here and there. They are here in my templates, but I'm not using it. I'm only using the one on the master just to enhance, to glue a little, to enhance, to add some high end, because it tends to be too dark, lacking of presence. So it helps a lot. Just a few. Some reverb. So I am using two reverbs, one for the early reflection, one for the tail. It helps me, sometimes it just I send equally to both of them. But for instance, for very short articulations or perks or stuff like that, sometimes it's cool to put less of tail, and to have the ability to change, to adjust both of them separately is cool. But I like to add another reverb to glue the final mix just a little bit. Some digital clipping, some limiter, but actually I'm not limiting at all because it's not so loud, and the dynamic range is actually quite high. But I'm just using it especially as a gain redresser, I would say, gain adjuster, and also just to prevent. Okay, so let's listen to it last time just to see the analyzer and take a final look at the mix. I'm reducing the volume to be able to speak. So if you look at the spectrum, you see that I don't use so much high end, actually, probably not enough. I'm missing some stuff there. Probably I should have used more perks or more wind instrument to feel it, maybe some brass as well. Anyway, also for the low end, it is filled by some perks, but sometimes, I'm leaving some holes. I really did my best to be as close as I could from the original one, and I think it's good enough. Again, it's the project of so many people, so I'm not saying that it is the same. I think it's close, but it's not a modern production in a way that this is not a wall of sound with a super flat response, you know, all along the spectrum. It's not, it's very living. So yeah, I should compare with the original. Probably it's more compressed, I would say. Maybe not. I'm curious, actually. I will take a look. And for the analyzer, as you can see, I really like to use this one. I recommend. This is time domain compared to there is classic span that is super cool as well, but frequency domain, you know, it gives another perspective. FFT is always more precise, of course, but I like both. Okay, I hope it was useful. You could learn a few things here and there. Bye bye.